Hi, Professor Wainaina here, your 5 minutes teacher on education, childhood, youth, parenting, and all things school. Welcome. Nobody likes being laughed at, yet some of the greatest achievements in history began with the courage to appear foolish. It does seem that success ultimately belongs to those who don't just tolerate looking foolish, they embraced it. And they succeeded because they understood a vital distinction. Foolish ideas aren't the same as wrong ones. The distinction between ridiculous and wrong is where your courage will either falter or flourish. Wrong ideas ignore foundational truths, they rest on flawed logic or disregard facts. A ridiculous idea, in contrast, challenges societal norms or assumptions, forcing people to rephrase how they think about a problem. If no one questions your judgment, you are probably not innovating. I will say that again for those at the back. If no one questions your judgment, you are probably not innovating. By the time an idea is widely accepted, its moment of opportunity has often passed. That's why when you are young, taking bold and conventional risks isn't just an option, it's essential. By knowing that, you need to start asking whether your hesitation comes from a legitimate concern or simply fear of being judged. Let's face it, no one wants to look foolish, but this fear has a way of paralyzing bold thinking. Research in behavioral psychology underscores this, showing that fear of negative evaluation inhibits creative risk taking, particularly among young individuals. But here's the catch. Avoiding foolishness also means avoiding the kind of thinking that changes the world. Your task is to learn how to embrace risk without losing sight of reality. The next step is to reframe how you evaluate ideas. Ask yourself, does this idea break a norm or does it break a truth? The former may feel uncomfortable, but it has potential. The latter is destined for failure. For instance, trying to create a machine that breaks the laws of physics isn't productive. You cannot revise the laws of physics. But suggesting that people might want to order food from their phones was once considered absurd, a ridiculous departure from the norm. And yet today apps are commonplace to order food precisely because someone dared to look foolish. But while at it, you will need to develop thick skin. The more unconventional your idea, the louder the critics will be. People often resist what they don't understand, confusing the unfamiliar with the unknowable. Remember that ridicule isn't always a reflection of your idea's value. It's often a sign that you're ahead of your time. The challenge isn't to avoid skepticism, but to learn to thrive in its presence. Cultivate resilience by focusing on the deeper purpose behind your idea. When you are clear on why something matters, the fear of judgment loses its grip. If you are a young person who wants to do something truly great and different, create opportunities to engage with diverse perspectives. Actively seek out spaces and platforms where unconventional ideas thrive. Attend events or join online communities where people discuss bold, even contentious viewpoints. Challenge yourself to approach problems differently by asking, what if the opposite were true? Remember that the goal isn't to argue for argument's sake, but to expose yourself to fresh ways of thinking. Innovation thrives when you push beyond the comfort of like-minded consensus and risk looking foolish. It means starting with your own mindset first. Remember, practice makes perfect. Practice small acts of foolishness to build your courage. Pitch an idea that feels risky. Experiment with solutions that seem odd but intriguing. Each time you push against the fear of judgment, you strengthen your capacity to take bigger risks. Courage, after all, is a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it gets. The world doesn't reward those who play it safe. It rewards those who dare to appear foolish in the pursuit of something extraordinary. Remember this: progress has never been born from consensus. The very ideas that seem absurd today may shape the world of tomorrow. Will you have the courage to risk looking foolish? Because if you're too scared to look ridiculous, you will never discover what's truly possible. Thank you for your time. See you in the next lesson.